Today on Dr. Oz,
How do you deal with all these rumors?
Kris Jenner sets the record straight. The gossip,
How do you deal with people talking about your body, their bodies?
the struggle with self-esteem,
You've been very open about the plastic surgery operations you've had. Why did you want those?
the split.
Going through a divorce, that can make you sick.
It can be very toxic.
Coming up next on Dr. Oz.
All right, from health scares to constant talk about her kids' weight, Kris Jenner has heard it all. As matriarch of the Kardashian-Jenner family, how does Kris Jenner handle all the gossip, all the rumors? Well, she's about to set the record straight. Kris Jenner, please join me.
Yes. Hey, everybody.
It is so good to have you here. So you're a two-sided
nice
kisser, huh?
I am. Well, you know, we spent a lot of time in Paris this summer. Had a little wedding thing going on. So we learned how to be very Parisian very quickly.
Well, I'm very happy you're joining us.
Thank you.
I have so much to talk to you about, but I'm particularly interested in how you manage all the stuff about your kids. And you
I know. I know,
you
right?
built them in many ways.
It's a lot.
Yet the people are always talking about their struggles. For example, recently about Rob's weight. You know, I talk about Kim's weight during pregnancy and afterwards.
Yeah.
How do you deal with people talking about your body, their bodies?
Well, you know, listen, everybody's a critic. And I think that putting the girls and Rob now on magazines definitely sells them. But, you know, I taught the kids a long time ago that it really starts with when they were younger and how I've really tried hard to raise strong daughters and give them a sense of self-esteem, you know, really good self-esteem, and how when they grew up and when they went through puberty, you know, they were just like any other kids where it was that real chubby stage. Everybody went through it. They had braces. They were awkward. Rob was chubby. And that's when the kids need you the most. And that's when I think I instilled a lot of stuff about how to feel good about yourself. And we're such a close family that we're always encouraging one another. Because you do get a lot of criticism when you're in the public eye constantly, whether you want it or not. So I think just to be a real supportive parent and tell them how much they're loved and how beautiful they are on the inside. And as long as they were okay on the inside, then everything else would be gravy.
Let's talk about you for a second. You've been very open about the plastic surgery operations you've had. Why did you want those? You're a very beautiful woman.
Oh, well, I think I've had a couple surgeries, and my first surgery I had was after I had 4 kids. And I mean, gravity just took over, and I had these 4 beautiful kids, but from the waist up, it was not pretty. So I had a boob job, which I was like so excited about and felt so good about myself. It made me feel like $1 million. And I was just barely 30 years old, had the surgery, and then a couple years ago, 25 years later, I was talking to my doctor, the same guy that did the surgery, and he said, you know, I think it's time. They've been in your body for so long, let's just, you know, like at least
move them on.
You know, let's do something about like a little tune-up. And so I said, you know, actually, if you're going to do that, I'm kind of over big boobs. They make you look matronly when you're older. I didn't feel good about my body anymore. I felt heavy and uncomfortable. Nothing fit right. And so he said, okay, great. We'll take them out. We'll clean it up. We'll put smaller situations in. I'm giving you guys way too much information.
Yeah. It's like being in a doctor's office.
This is crazy. I feel like I'm talking to Dr. Oz or something. But so I did that. And then that was my whole story on that. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, I decided to do a little situation there. And that's really the extent of it. I've had so much written about me. Oh, you've had your nose done, you've had this, and no. And I probably will never do anything again because it kind of scared me being put under for that long. It really scared me to death.
It's a bigger move than people appreciate.
It's a big decision, and I have a lot of responsibilities and a lot of children who love me a lot. So, you know.
You've done a lot of things to keep yourself at tip-top shape. Plastic surgery, you obviously take good care of yourself. One of the biggest stressors of our life happens with the people we love dearly. And you've recently announced that you and Bruce are splitting.
Divorcing.
Divorcing.
Yes.
It's hard to cope with that with the whole world watching.
You know what? It is a lot of stress. I think that I happen to internalize my stress and I deal with it. I think I have tough skin, but it definitely takes its toll, even if you don't realize it's happening. So I think the better you take care of yourself, and I've learned, the hard way, that little things can creep up, and if you don't pay attention, that you can find yourself in trouble.
Like,
so
for example?
Recently, I felt like I wasn't feeling well. Like I felt like my internally I didn't feel good. And so I ended up in the hospital.
Oh my.
And it was just basically stress and anxiety. And I changed a few things around. I went to a nutritionist. I got some great guidelines and some reminders. I think we all get really lazy in life and we start to feel real comfortable with how our routine is, and I thought I was working out and I was eating, at all the right times and this and that, but I really wasn't. So things like that, small changes, and
those are, I can see being hugely important, but going through a divorce, that can make you sick.
Yeah, it can. It can be very toxic.
Do you think the pressures that you live under are part of the reason that you're splitting?
I don't. I think that Bruce and I grew apart in many ways. I think we realized we had a separation. We realized we were much happier living apart than together, and we had grown apart in quite a few ways where we didn't have a lot of the same things in common, although we had such mutual admiration for each other, and we have kids together and a family. It was just better for everyone, and I think the minute we realized we were happier living apart, the whole family was happier. We had 20 amazing years together.
But if you spent 20 years with someone who you loved so much, you married them.
Right. Well, I got married within 5 months of meeting him. So that's kind of remarkable. We had a great relationship in the beginning.
There must be a moment in that wonderful 2-decade blissful relationship when you suddenly think, I don't feel intimate with him. There's something that's either hurt the trust, something I would think has to break that bond you've built.
I think for us, I agree with you. I think for us, though, it was very gradual. It was just a gradual thing where it just wasn't there. We're always be in each other's lives. And I think that we just had to be grown-ups and say, we want to do this so it doesn't hurt either the kids or my mom or anybody in our family. It was more important for us that everyone as a whole was happy and not just the two of us being idiots. So,
How do you deal with all these rumors? I just picked these up today. These are two big magazines. One's on Chloe, one's on Kim.
Yeah.
Bruce's appearance. I mean, all this stuff I see out.
Yeah.
It can't all be true, but parts of it might be true. People don't know. How do you deal with that?
I think, when we first started on this journey 10 seasons ago, we just started filming our 10th season last week of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and it's been an amazing ride. But what I told my kids early on was, don't get on the internet, don't read the weekly magazines, and that was a definite lesson that we learned the hard way, because you think you can take it, and you've got this tough skin and like you're in armor. It took a minute, and 150% of everything written in most of these magazines, all except for one, which is usually People, are 150% false, made up, lies. There's nothing that has any legitimacy whatsoever. I mean, I watch stuff, Kris was fired today and her daughters are infighting and I live with most of my kids. Kim's down the hall and Kanye's upstairs and nobody leaves. I wish they'd leave for like 5 minutes. It would be amazing to have a break. But it's so far from the truth. And Lionel Richie's Chloe's new baby daddy. Oh, well, Lionel, 18 years of child support, dude. No, I kid about it because that's all you can do. You can laugh but now it's just, we've all grown a little bit of thick skin. And so far, I've raised, 6 really strong kids that work really hard and they have great work ethic and they're good people. That's all that matters.
One of the things you've taught them to do, I understand, is to cook.
I have.
It helps with the stress, helps with all the things. And you've got a fantastic book. This is what it looks like, everybody. It's called In the Kitchen with Kris, which is what we're going to do right now. What is it about cooking that calms you, by the way?
Thank you. Cooking is something that, I can control what goes on in my own kitchen. So that makes me happy. And it's a place where I can be alone most of the time, you know, while I'm cooking the actual meal, and create something for my family that makes them feel good. And cooking is really a labor of love. Yeah. So you're doing something for them that you hope they'll enjoy, and I love, it's all about presentation and taste and smell. So I love it.
So these
I
are
really do.
these are the favorite food cure-alls. I picked the specific recipes that I thought might be ones you might use in a healing way with your family.
Yes.
I gather you use food as a healing tool.
I do. Well, anytime anybody even gets a sniffle around my house, this is my go-to. This is hearty chicken soup, which is really, really delicious. And it's full of lots of nutrients. It's tons of veggies, chicken, and I shred the chicken or I chop the chicken. It's got pastina and barley. So it's got, and I serve it with a little basil and a little parsley and then Parmesan cheese on top. And then at my house, of course, we have to have some crusty sourdough bread, and but
really
it's
good.
really, really good and really filling. This is an incredible meal, but it fills you up, and great comfort food. So this is always in my refrigerator, on my stove during like the winter.
Now you're a busy woman.
Very busy.
Making a chicken takes time.
Okay, well this could be very intimidating because a lot of people, hearty chicken soup, even the sound of that is intimidating and scary. But everyone doesn't realize that all you have to do, I'm gonna get my hands dirty, is get one of these rotisserie chickens at the market. Pick it up, and just peel the skin off, start peeling the skin and shred your chicken. And I do 2 of these, put the carcass in a big pot of water with celery and carrots and spices and just cook it for 2 hours. And you have the most amazing chicken broth in the world, and that's a cure-all in and of itself. Then you add all the veggies, thank you, and you've got a meal. So
I
it's
love the
fun.
fact you get your hands dirty and actually make this stuff.
Oh, I love, this is my thing. This is my wheelhouse right here.
Of the many things we're going to talk about today, this is my favorite concept. This is the dieter's dream spicy tomato salsa.
It is. So this is, I use Maui onion and beefsteak tomatoes, and I use cilantro and pepper, and I use Tabasco. Cilantro. I turn into another whole human being when I start speaking another language.
Christina.
Yeah, you're going to get all my accents right here. Wait till I get to Italian.
That's right. So Latina.
Yeah, cilantro, lime juice, and it's just one of those things. I chop it really fine. This is something that I will make and keep in my refrigerator. And it's spicy. It's got a bite.
Oh.
So watch out there. It's dangerous. But this.
Keep going.
This will get this man a fire extinguisher. So this is something I keep in my refrigerator for days. But as the days go on, the flavors like fuse and marinate, and it is really good. Not only by itself with veggies like we have it here, but it's great. I serve it on my grilled swordfish with grilled eggplant. We have it here on grilled chicken. It's like you scramble eggs and put it on the side and it's yummy.
I like the fact that it's in the fridge and it's ready to go. So your default is going to be use it as long as it doesn't burn your mouth out like mine.
Well, you don't have to use as much spicy stuff as I do. Sorry about that.
It'll beat your metabolism
I bet
up.
you can't wait to come over for dinner.
I'm looking forward to it.
It gets crazy
now,
around
if
my
you got
house.
a big crowd around,
Yes.
this is a very special day. It's called the Pasta Primavera for the big crowd. So how
Yes,
does it
well,
work?
every night at my house, it's a big crowd. And I, for some reason, have been so accustomed to cooking huge meals, and I love the way things look in the presentation. So this is Pasta Primavera, and I do it with Parmesan, and you can also add things like, which is not in my book, some mushrooms or ricotta cheese, and then we do a lot of Parmesan, toss it up with some basil. I'll serve it with grilled chicken, I'll do it with bread, and this is always in the refrigerator at my house because there's always leftovers.
I have adored having you on the show. Thank you
Really?
very much.
Are you sure?
Yes, I
Okay.
really have. All these recipes are on DrOz.com, and Kris's new book, In the Kitchen with Kris, is available now. Beautiful picture of her on it. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're great. Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Next, don't exercise, don't eat the right foods, need to make a change but don't know how? The sheriff is back in town to tell us how he did it. The 2 easy steps that changed his life could change yours. Next. Busting the biggest belly fat myths. Dr. Oz shows you how to fight fat with fat. Plus, 3 ways to get flatter and firmer fast. All new Dr. Oz. That's coming up tomorrow.
This season, we are bringing healthy back, and I'm taking all of America with me. Now, earlier this season, we met Don, a South Carolina sheriff who's on a mission to take control of his health and get his job back. Take a look at where we left him off last.
He's a dedicated public servant who says he let his love for Southern comfort food take away his job and nearly end his life.
I suffered a pretty serious heart attack.
Weighing in at 336 pounds, Don asked for help and then faced the truth.
Your heart function is around 33%, and it's supposed to be upwards of 55 to 60%. I brought in the big gun, Dr. Mike Roizen.
I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe you can get this do-over. You can do it.
I will.
So that's very possible.
It's been only a month since we last saw Don on our show, and he's already made some remarkable changes.
Being on the Dr. Oz show was a real big eye-opener for me. It kind of lit a fire inside me. Already I've lost a considerable amount of weight. My clothes fit much better now. When I started this diet and exercise program, I was a carnivore. I liked my meat and potatoes. Now I have completely removed red meat from my diet. I'll eat salad. I have much more vegetables with my meals. Before, I could only walk a few steps before I started to get winded. Now I'm hitting somewhere between 7,000 and 8,000 steps a day with little or no problems. My goal is to get to 10,000 steps per day. Dr. Roizen keeps constant contact with me. We'll video chat.
Should I ask how your weight and waist is, or should we wait till I see you again?
I think I'm gonna wait and tell you at the next appointment, but I'm proud of what I've done so far. I email him every evening with a list of what I had to eat and my step count. He encouraged me, gave me some tips, and I was able to push right on through and keep going. My wife has been really right there with me too, and she's lost 14 pounds herself. I hope to reach my ultimate goal, which is getting back into law enforcement. I'm a lot more optimistic about my future, and I'm finally getting my health back on track.
Now, here's what Don looked like before. Are y'all ready to see Don now? Yeah! Come on out, Don. Congratulations. Unbelievable.
Thank you.
I guess goosebumps when I see this happen at some point. The last time you came on the show, we put you on what I called a vitality program.
Yes, sir.
Which I know Dr. Roizen has been tormenting you about. So what's been the biggest change?
When we first started this journey, you said 6 words to me that struck fear in my heart, and I felt like I had already been set up for failure. It was no more red meat and more greens.
Oh my goodness. That was the 6 words that petrified you.
That's the 6 words that petrified me, scared me to death. But I've been able to stick to the diet. I've been able to stick to the exercise program. I'm really committed to this, and I think I'm doing pretty good.
I want to get into that, but let me ask you, if I can, a bigger question. The last time you were here,
yes, sir.
You weren't living your life. You were trapped inside the body you brought here. I mean, what's it like? What's going on inside of you right now?
I've got a fire again. There were a lot of times where I would disappoint myself in what I wouldn't achieve. And I know that I turned that around. My wife made a comment to me. I was suffering some pain in my leg when I was exercising. My whole family, by the way, exercises with me now.
Good for you.
And my son asked my wife, he says, "Are we gonna do another lap?" And my wife says, "I seriously doubt it." I turned around to my wife and I said, "Don't ever doubt me." We did another lap.
Good for you. Come on over. Now I'm gonna put you in the truth tube. The last time you came on, we asked you to do the 2 things that you sort of mentioned. One was no more red meat, the other was 10,000 steps a day.
Right.
So cuddle on over here because I'm gonna show you what impact that has had.
Yes, sir.
So your weight when you came here the first time was 336 pounds. Your weight now, 304 pounds. 32 pounds less. 32 pounds. Your waist before was 56 inches. Your waist now, 52 inches. I see it. It's happened. Ejection fraction. That's what I was trying to measure, trying to see how well your heart's contracting. I'm going to share it with you. I was excited about this part because I was curious. Was it going to have a difference? We've never looked at ejection fraction. It's just because it's hard to measure and monitor for folks over periods of time. But in your case, we had knowledge that it's supposed to be more than 55%. In other words, it's supposed to squeeze more than half of the blood out of it. Yours was squeezing at 33%, which is 1/3 of what it's supposed to, of what it could do. So your ejection fraction, we just checked it, was 49%, which is dramatic improvement. And I gotta say, when I see this, I begin to realize, my goodness, we are actually changing not just how you feel, not just the people around you, but literally minute by minute, allowing you to see life in a whole different way. I don't know if it's sinking through to you, but as a doctor, to see those numbers,
it's hitting home. It's hitting real close to home. I mean, I lived with fear before this. I was afraid that I was going to widow my wife, that she was going to have to wake up one morning to a body lying next to her, and I was going to leave my children fatherless. And I don't go to bed with that fear anymore.
that's the biggest load that it could lift.
Yes, sir.
There was one of the big issues I was worried about. When you came on here, you were on 14 medications. This is true for a lot of folks. I mean, we just give you more and more pills because we're not getting the results that we desire, because we're looking in the wrong places for answers. I spoke to your primary physician yesterday, and we are happy, both of us, and we agree on this, we're going to be able to reduce those pills dramatically. Start off reducing the amount you take, and eventually we're going to get you off some of those pills, which is a massive improvement in what your life is going to be like as well. Right. So it's all good news in every way. I need to understand what's really happening in the future for you. You're dropping the weight, you're making a big difference in your life.
Yes, sir.
What's your perspective on life?
It's changed. Like I said, that fire's lit back inside of me. It was just an ember that was smoldering, and you could start to see it lessen. And I felt that. But now, you turn the fan on.
The fire's going.
And I'm ready to go.
Well, you're inspiring to me. You're inspiring to lots of other folks out there. When we come back, I've got 2 more steps to the plan for Don and everybody else out there. This works. It's reproducible. Come along with us. This is a program at home that's going to focus on fat reduction around your organs. It works. I'll be right back with it.
Coming up next, your weight loss journey continues today. More achievable results from Dr. Oz's Vitality Plan. 2 new fat reduction steps anybody can follow to boost up energy and trim down your weight. Stay tuned.
We're back with Sheriff Don, who is taking the next step in our Vitality Plan and is joined by Dr. Michael Roizen from the Cleveland Clinic, who's been with Don on his weight loss journey every step of the way. Mike, 32 pounds, a ton of weight in just about a month. I mean, how typical is that?
Well, Don's done a little more than most people, but everyone, and I'm looking out there at the camera, everyone can do this. This is possible. So Don's taken a do-over, and he started with a physical do-over and just a few easy steps, literally some steps, and then he's done something tough and carried it through. And as he said to you, he's got the passion, the fire. Yeah. That's what happens as you start your do-over, as you get the physical part, it changes you mentally. And so he's got his real purpose of being able to serve as the sheriff again and serving people. And that's what he's going to get to. But he now feels like a thoroughbred. He wants to go faster. So one of the toughest things for me is to keep saying to him, no, don't get injured. We got a set pattern to do it. Don't go too fast.
We're not getting injured. Come on back here a second. Let's get through this. So the first 2 steps, remember, was those dreaded words, no red meat, and then the 10,000 steps part. Now we're going to go into a major, major move, which you're ready for, and everyone in America, listen carefully because you guys are ready for this as well. Complete carbohydrate overhaul. Mike, slowly walk us through what this means.
So just like there are good protein and protein that isn't as good, the red meat, just like you got rid of that, well, there are carbs that are good and carbs that are bad. So you know the ones that are bad, these things that have white in them, throw them down, stomp on them. You want to get rid of these things. Now, some of them are a little tricky.
Cupcakes are still there, don't panic.
So the instant oatmeal and the cereals, they raise your blood sugar too fast. Those carbs aren't healthy for you. And some of them are sneaky. They can hide in dressings as sugar or high fructose corn syrup. These over here are really good. Now, it takes a little while to learn how to cook them so they taste just as good. So you'll have to practice, and it'll take a little while. You and your wife will both share practicing on cooking, if you will.
Oh, I'm sure.
And beans are a healthy form of carbohydrate. They give protein as well as carbohydrate. You can take the green. You've learned to eat some green now, and so you can use it as the wrapping over if you will, a sandwich or a bean burger. And there are some fruits that are pretty good. So raspberries and blueberries, they don't raise your blood sugar that much, so you can have those. Okay. And you can even have, and this is one of the tricks we're going to use, you can have a little chocolate or 6 walnut halves or half an ounce of chocolate 30 minutes before you have this, and it keeps your blood sugar down. The reason that these are good carbs is they don't raise your blood sugar as much. Okay. When your blood sugar goes too high, that's when your arteries get damaged. And so what's going to happen by this is your arteries are going to keep working better and start working progressively better. So in fact, he'll be able to do more and build other things so that he'll be able to pass the test for the sheriff.
Okay. All right, so that's part one, is to redo these carbs. Right. Again, we'll put this on droz.com, simple to do. When we do this, we get the results we expect. Second part is resistance training. Walk us through that.
So you want to replace fat. There's a pound of fat, and you want to replace it with a pound of muscle. Fat uses about 3 calories a day. Muscle, about 35. So that's the key, is to replace this with muscle so that he loses the weight and is able, so if he's got to jump over a fence or jump as part of that test, he will be able to do it with more muscle and less fat to be able to do that. And that's really important in both getting healthy and in getting thinner so he can pass that test.
So this is a game changer concept. What we're saying is you're losing the weight, that's fantastic. I actually need to now begin shifting the fat weight to the muscle weight. So many people go on diet programs and they begin making that transition, which is good, but you get depressed because you're not losing 32 pounds in a month. I'm less concerned about that now. I'm more concerned about you moving from walking to resistance exercising. So remember, more muscle you have, the more calories you'll burn, the more you'll get away with. So Mike, show us a couple programs that might work.
So what we have done is all resistance training is moving against gravity, a weight against gravity. Okay. And the first thing, you don't have to spend a lot of money on anything. You can use your body as your weight. Okay. So we did in grade school push-ups and sit-ups. Those are the first 2. We'll give you 5 exercises. We'll again put them on Dr. Oz. Now, when you first do these, I'm going to use you as my...
I'll be the wall, the prop.
The wall. So when you first do these, you can lean against the wall. You don't have to go down. You can do it this way and start that way. So it's pretty easy. Okay. Then you have them go a little lower table, and you do the same thing. And then you drop down to the floor.
Jeez.
Should we do it?
No, you're supposed to do it on me.
No,
Mike.
No, okay.
Oh, gosh.
So as he goes down,
it's harder for me than him.
And then you go all the way and do a regular one.
I'll get there.
Okay.
All right, now Mike's going to be the wall. You practice on him. No, I'm not kidding. Listen, this is a vitality plan. You're smiling now.
Yes, sir.
The last time you were here, we didn't get a smile out of you.
No, sir.
And I tried to cheer you up, so did Mike, by giving you a pep talk. I want you to have as much confidence in yourself as we have in you. The people in your life love you dearly, like we care about you. And one last little thing, Don, small little thing, but
yes,
your
sir.
Community cares about you so much that when we reached out to them to see what else we could do to help, they offer you a little gift. If you want to take it, the gift is fantastic. It's from the local YMCA. They've graciously offered you and your whole family a year-long membership.
I'll use it.
You'll use it?
I'll use it.
All right. Remember, if you're just starting today on this journey with Don, we can all learn from each other, take advantage of what he's gotten through, and do it for yourself. We'll be right back.
Next, they're one of the hottest bottled drinks on the market. They claim to kill off bad bacteria, aid in digestion, and detoxify the body. But do they really work? What you should know before you buy your next probiotic drink. Coming up next. Busting the biggest belly fat myths. Dr. Oz shows you how to fight fat with fat. Plus, 3 ways to get flatter and firmer fast. All new Dr. Oz. That's coming up tomorrow.
probiotic drinks. They're one of the hottest bottled drinks currently being sold in supermarkets and drugstores. Their labels claim to kill off bad bacteria, they aid in digestion, they detoxify the body. But do they work? There are new studies raising questions about their effectiveness, and one of the biggest mistakes, turns out, has to do with us, how we are taking them. Now, why is that? Let's talk about it with Maria. She's here because she drinks probiotic beverages every day, and she wants to know if they are working. How are you?
Well, how are you?
So how long have you been taking probiotics?
About 3 years now.
And why'd you start?
Well, I had some digestive difficulties, and I tried so many different things like increasing fiber and just eating cleaner, and nothing seemed to work. So that's when I decided I would give probiotic drinks a try.
Did it make a difference?
Overnight.
Overnight?
Overnight.
When do you take them during the day?
Actually, because I know that we're supposed to drink water, we're always told to drink so much water. So what I do is I replace a glass of water with a probiotic drink, and I do it in the middle of the day, like between lunch and dinner.
All right. So there's a potential pitfall there. You're probably not making it because you got benefits, but I'm going to walk everybody through this.
Okay.
I tell you, it's a bigger deal. There are a lot of folks who think they're getting probiotics the way they were drinking them, but they're getting a lot fewer than they think. Come on over. I'll bet you a little demonstration. So here's a stomach. We have two stomachs. This is yours, that's mine.
Okay.
And these are the intestines. Right? So let's say I don't know the rules, and I'm going to take my probiotics, but I don't recognize that food is actually an important problem for the probiotics. And here's why. Food comes in big quantities, bigger than the amount of probiotics you might take. And when you put it into your stomach, guess what happens? It fills your stomach up. And it takes a while for the pass from your stomach into the small intestine. And while it's in the stomach and I pour in my probiotics, nothing happens to the probiotics because the food is unfortunately blocking the path. Your stomach, because it's full, won't digest as quickly. The probiotics can't move out of the stomach, and the probiotics are very, very uber sensitive to acid. So when the acid is eating away at the probiotics, you're killing off literally billions of these probiotics that you're supposed to have in your gut. They don't work unless they get to the small intestine. Now you show me what happens if you're drinking your probiotics on an empty stomach. You pour it in there, and voila, the probiotics quickly start getting digested past the stomach, and notice you've got a lot of blue down in your small intestine. I have none.
Sure.
I only have real food. Mine is being destroyed up here at the stomach level.
Okay.
Takeaway, if you want to have the benefits of probiotics, don't eat them on a full stomach. You're wasting your time. So this probiotic you've been taking,
Sure.
It's made you feel better, you say?
Yes.
Overnight?
Overnight.
And how did you even learn about it in the first place?
My parents have actually been making this kombucha tea for about 5 years.
Your parents make it?
They make it, yeah.
So tell everyone about kombucha tea.
They tell you how to make it?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Okay, sure. Well, it's black tea, and it's organic black tea, 10 tea bags, to about 2 gallons of water, and about 2 cups of sugar.
Can I taste it?
Sure.
I've never met anyone who actually made their own kombucha tea. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
it's like vinegar.
It's got a tablespoon of vinegar in it as well. Yeah.
You didn't mention the vinegar. I was expecting sugar and tea.
I didn't get to it yet.
How much longer can I wait?
You wanted to taste it right away.
Oh, that is strong. I don't know about that. The vinegar threw me off.
I don't have a sweet tooth, so I kind of like it.
Oh my, well, if I expected it might have been different. It is a potent odor. Come on over here. Let me give you one of the guidelines here. These are my probiotic. I've had tear up and start crying because I'm emotional about this topic. So probiotics are important for a bunch of reasons. You are a wonderful example of that. Some people just have tremendous benefit pretty quickly. If you're going to take them, you got to make sure you get enough organisms. So how do you know? If you don't have the right organisms in the stomach, you're not getting any benefit at all. You blame the probiotics instead of blaming, for example, the fact you took them at the wrong time. So it's intended, there's a minimum dose you should have, which is around 25 billion live active organisms. If you're taking a pill form, that's what you want. And don't bother taking a pill when you're taking a meal. You want to have it at least 30 minutes before the meal or at least 2 hours after the meal. All together now, 30 minutes before, 2 hours after, or else you're wasting your money, and there's no point in that. And if you're not going to get them in pill form, which you don't have to, you can also get them in natural foods. Natural foods do have them. Look for live and active cultures in yogurt. Right. You can get them in sauerkraut. A lot of pickled vegetables will have them as well.
I eat sauerkraut too.
Yeah. So I think sauerkraut's one of the smartest ways to get them.
Yep.
Just don't take them on a hot dog. Just eat the sauerkraut. Can I keep this?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm kidding you. I'm going to poison myself. Thank you very much. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Next, it's the middle of the night. You're sleeping soundly. Then suddenly, you're awake. It's a problem more common with women. Is your rest becoming restless? The action plan to get you back to sleep and stay asleep. Next.
We are bringing healthy back this season and want you to bring it too. Grab your prescription pad for fun and sign up for free tickets today. You can go to droz.com/tickets and sign up. Did I get it right? It's time for Secrets to Better Sleep. Today, the sleep action plan to get you back to bed in the middle of the night. Dr. Carol Ash is here. She can take us through this. This is an area you've had a lot of interest in for a long time. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
All right, so let's go through the scenario. You wake up in the middle of the night. You fell asleep fine, but you wake up in the middle of the night. That's pretty common among especially women. Why is that?
Well, you know, Dr. Oz, stress and anxiety can be disruptive to sleep, and women have worries over marriage, the job, aging parents, kids, and all of that can create racing thoughts. In addition, we have different physiology. So as we age, you see changes in hormones that'll change the quality of your sleep, and all of that leads to sleep maintenance problems. And if you're up at night for more than 30 minutes, you have a problem.
So Dawn is joining us. She likes to lie down during the day. She says she wakes up several times during the week, 3 times in particular at 2:30 a.m., which is why she likes to lie down. How are you?
Good, how are you?
So when you wake up at 2:30 in the morning, what do you normally think about?
I'm thinking about what I have to do the next day, what I'm doing with the kids, and what I didn't do maybe the previous day. So my mind is just racing and not stopping.
Typical, classic example. So the first thing, this is going to be very paradoxical. First thing Dr. Ash wants you to do in the middle of the night is to lay exactly still in the position you're in bed for 15 minutes. Why is that so important?
Well, you know, you're not as awake as you think. So when you first wake up, you want to capture that opportunity and relax so you can get back on the sleep train. So if you start tossing and turning, it activates the brain. It's like taking a can of soda and shaking it up and agitating it. Eventually, it'll explode. So.
And in addition to the not moving part, which I always go back and forth if that happens to me, the second part of that plan is you got to breathe very differently. And this is, again, something that I'd never thought about, but give us the specific plan you think works.
Well, there's a type of breathing that we call 4-7-8. Essentially, you inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. So, Dawn, try it with me.
Actually, everyone do this. Just practice it, because you never know when you get up at 2:30 in the morning. All right.
You want to put your tongue up to the teeth. Okay, hold it up at your teeth. Then you want to inhale slowly to a count of 4 through your nose. So I'll start counting. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now you do that 4 times, and that usually is enough to relax you and get you to drift off into sleep. But if you find that you're still awake, then try it a second time. That usually takes about 15 minutes.
Okay, so after 15 minutes, if I can help you up,
Thank you.
You're going to change the assignment. So again, after 15 minutes, you couldn't get back to sleep again. Dr. Ash says you're going to get out of bed and go watch some videos. Now, don't take that the wrong way. Most people want to, but it seems very counterintuitive. But what is it that you want Dawn to do when she gets up? What's on her laptop?
Well, the reason why I don't want you in the bed more than 15 minutes, get out of bed, because what'll start to happen is you'll develop a negative association to staying in the bed, and it'll get harder and harder to sleep. So you get out of bed and you want to go do something that's mundane, soothing, calming. So stay away from Facebook and games. They're too engaging. But there's these videos now that are out there that have those qualities, this mundane, kind of sensual, relaxing experience.
So these are called ASMR videos. Have you heard of them?
No.
Okay, so most people haven't. It stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. Forget about that. This is what they look like.
Imagine you're walking toward the ocean. Feel the cool water provide relief.
There are now thousands of videos posted on YouTube designed to stimulate ASMR, which promotes relaxation and sleep simply by using recognizable sounds we hear every day. The tapping, brushing, and scratching noises in these videos can cause a tingly sensation in the back of the head. That sensation can spread down the spine and travel to other parts of your body, helping you to relax and drift off into a blissful slumber.
Dawn, you were very attentive during that. You think it might help you a little bit?
I'll try anything at this point, and it looked very relaxing, so.
Those sounds do sort of give you goosebumps, don't they? Have you ever heard this before? It's like when your mother would say, pour you something slowly, you'd hear it. All All right, so that's a big plan. So you get out of bed 15 minutes, and then after that, we got to head back to the bed because you should be drowsy by now. And there's one last little bit of this, Dr. Ash. Please put it out. Go ahead.
Okay.
You can lie down like you were before. It'll be perfect.
So Dr. Oz, after all this hard work, you want to keep up the momentum. And what I tell patients to do is put a pillow underneath their knees. What that does, there you go, Dawn.
Okay.
That takes the weight off your back and lets all the tension melt away from you getting up and being out of the bed and watching your videos. So if you do that, that should help you get back to sleep.
What do you think, Dawn? Confident?
Yeah, it feels good. And I never thought to do this before, so.
We actually put patients in that position for anesthesia.
Okay.
For that very same reason, because you can't control it when you're asleep, so we do it for you. So the positions that we use for anesthesia should work with getting you to sleep for just a few hours.
Right.
Thank you for bringing your questions to our attention. For the sleep plan for the middle of the night, DrOz.com is your resource. Dr. Ash's program will be there. I'll be right back.
Tell us, how has the show helped your sleep patterns?
I used to be lucky to get 4 hours per night, but now I routinely get around 7. I just made a few changes that all came from the show. Thanks, Dr. Oz.
Share your sleep action plan on Facebook.com/Dr. Oz. Busting the biggest belly fat myths. Dr. Oz shows you how to fight fat with fat. Plus, 3 ways to get flatter and firmer fast. All new Dr. Oz. That's coming up tomorrow.
Check out this sign that I saw just the other day. Now, under the picture of the car, it says, this one runs on money and makes you fat. And then under the picture of the bike, it says, this one runs on fat and saves you money, which I think is fantastically true. It made me laugh. I think laughter in itself is probably the best medicine. Okay, time for In Case You Missed It. First, the secrets to better sleep. Today, I reveal the action plan for the middle of the night. Here's a surprising tip. If after 15 minutes, when you're woken up at 2:30 in the morning, you can't get back to sleep, instead of just lying there calmly, which is the initial step, you're gonna get out of bed and then go over to a computer. Here's why. I know it sounds counterintuitive. You can try a quiet activity. There's something called ASMR, stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. Forget that complex name. This is what it will sound like.
Imagine you're walking toward the ocean. Feel the cool water provide relief.
You get goosebumps listening to it. It seems counterintuitive, but it can actually make you drowsy and help you get where you need to be, which is back to sleep again. All right, let's get to a warning. Please be careful about what you buy online, especially weight loss pills. There's some dubious people online that prey on folks like you who are trying to do the right thing for your health. Sometimes they even make it seem like I'm endorsing their products, and you know I don't. To see a full list of our trusted sponsorship partners, please go to DrOz.com, and I'll see you all next time.